Okay. Hi, yeah. We've got a minute to go. Anybody wants to say anything? Everybody's
welcome, Dr. N. And so wonderful to see you.
Perin Jasumani, Jai Baba, you'll have to speak up a bit louder. We are all deaf here.
Okay, I'm going to put this speaker on 100. Just welcoming Jai Baba to Dr. N. So beautiful.
Jai Baba Perin, thank you.
I don't see your video, and at this point, is your video on?
It is on.
No, and your video is not on.
Because I don't see it.
Okay, it's time.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Anne?
Yeah.
Could you please start with the prayer in French, the small one?
Directly in French, all right. Dieu bien-aimé, aide-nous tous à t'aimer de plus en plus, et encore plus, et toujours plus, jusqu'à ce que nous devenions dignes d'union avec toi. Et aide-nous tous à tenir fermement le daman de Baba, sans cesse, jusqu'au bout. Amen.
Atar Meher Baba ki jai. Atar Meher Baba ki jai. Atar Meher Baba ki jai. This sounded so beautiful, and I've really been longing to hear this kind of prayers in various different languages. And do me a favor, today before you sign off, also recite the same prayer again. Now, firstly, I'd like to invite our one and only Meher Baba. Come and join us for this program this evening. Not only join us, but to take over the goings on and the proceedings from here onwards. The speakers will speak whatever he wants us all to speak, and the audience will hear and interpret in whichever way they want as per his wish. Today we have with us Dr. N, who is a long time resident of Mehrabad, and she has been of medical assistance to one and all. It's a perfect example of service before self. In one of the conversations I had with her long back, when I said, you'd come here to work and how nice and this and that, and she stopped me and she said one sentence. She said, here we don't come to work. We come to work to have our egos worked upon. Have our egos worked upon. That is exactly what living in Mehrabad is like. She runs a hospital, she conducts eye clinics and so many other things. She also practices a bit of homeopathy. She's learned through Dr. Goher so many home remedies and stuff like that. So without wasting much time, and she speaks fluent Marathi. In case anybody wants to ask her anything in Marathi, please feel free to do so. So please take over, Dr. N. Jai Baba. Have your video switched on?
My video is switched on and I see myself. but I don't know what I can do.
We cannot see you.
Doctor, can you put it off once and start again? Maybe your network is
Put it off.
the video. The
Yeah, video
back.
is turned off. Put
Now?
it back.
on.
It's turned on. You know, sometimes it's because the connection is
The bandwidth.
too slow, so it
Okay. We could see you earlier, so just leave it be and carry on with your talk now.
all right.
Yeah.
So an old friend has asked me to tell you how I came to Baba. So I'll start with that story. And I came to Baba, I came to Mehrabad. Here you see me, I hope. I came to Mehrabad for the first time in November of 1980. And I came as a tourist. To give you some context, I come from a family that doesn't believe in God. So I grew up actually in an atmosphere that was against anything that had to do with religion. And once I remember my brother asked why we were not going to Sunday school like some other children. And my mother said, you know, here they say a story about God, but if you go to a different country, there is a different story. So we believe that if these stories about God were true, it should be the same story all over the world. But everybody has a different story, so we don't believe these stories. If you are educated and smart, you don't need to listen to that. We don't believe. This is like fairy tales. So this is my background. And then when I was a student in medical school, I started, you know, I discovered that my best friends believed in God, which was quite a shock for me because they were as educated, as smart as me. So I started searching, you know, asking what is life about, and I went to every talk, every conference, every study group, you know, the Bible study group of the Protestant medical student, the conference about Vedanta, I was there, talk about Zen Buddhism, I attended everything. And it was never my place. You know, it was good people, it was interesting, but I just never belonged in any of these groups. And one thing that helped me through medical school was Hatha Yoga. And also, toward the end, I discovered I practiced traditional Buddhist meditation, Vipassana meditation. And is everything okay?
Yes, please carry on.
So I spent some time in Buddhist meditation center. Anyway, I have finished medical school, and with a boyfriend, we've decided to go to Thailand for more Buddhist meditation. And he takes plane tickets with a stopover in India because he wants to go hear this famous guru in Pune called Rajneesh. So I'm not terribly happy about that, but what to do? And then, you know, your destiny takes over, and somebody asked if we could deliver a package to their friend in Pune. And these friends were Sam and Roshan Kerawala. In case you don't know, Sam and Roshan Kerawala were cousins of Erich and very close. People wouldn't known Meher Baba all their life. So then we land in Pune. We go deliver this package, and Sam and Roshan are very nice. Sam takes us all around Pune to places associated with Meher Baba. We end up going to the Rajneesh ashram, and one meeting with that guru is enough to know that this is not for us, you know. Not the kind of master that we are looking for. So what to do? There is still time before the flying to Thailand. So the boyfriend said, well, we could go check out the Meher Baba place. So we go back to Sam and Roshan and ask, can we go to Meher Baba's place? And they say, very good idea. Sam puts us on the bus to Ahmednagar. And on day 3 or day 4 of our first visit to India, we are in the trust office saying, and I remember people came with these fantastic hugs, you know, especially now after 2 years of social distancing. It's good to remember. And I thought, these people are crazy. Why do you hug people you don't know? But it felt so good. And after all these years of medical school, I was ready for something, you know, something else, something a little crazy like that. So we said we would like to know more about Meher Baba. And they said, great, you should stay in our pilgrim center in Mehrabad. Pilgrim center just opened a few months earlier. So we get in a rickshaw, we are in the Meher Pilgrim Center. And we say we'll stay 3 days. And it's a great disappointment. There is no meditation classes, there's no yoga classes, there's no conferences. There is absolutely nothing. The receptionist says 7 in the morning, 7 in the evening. There is aarti and you are welcome to join. But what do you do between the morning aarti and the evening aarti? I mean, it's like, why did we come here? And then, you know, it's just arrived in India and it's change of climate and all. So I fall asleep, I take a long nap and I wake up very grumpy. You know, what are we doing in this place? And then an American lady comes into the dorm and said, would you like me to show you the way to Meher Baba's tomb? And as I say, I'm grumpy and I don't feel any reason to go to anybody's tomb. But, you know, people were nice. There was a very pleasant atmosphere there. So to be polite, instead of spilling out my bad mood, I say, okay, yeah. So I follow her up the hill as a grumpy, reluctant tourist, really. And up there, we are greeted by an elderly Indian man with white clothes. That was Nanakher. And again, he sort of gives you this fantastic hug. And I felt with this hug that all my bad mood and negativity was sort of washed away from me. And in my memory, I have the impression that it pushed me inside the samadhi. So I find myself inside this little dome and I'm standing on the side and I realize, now what am I supposed to do? There was no instructions. I see other people are coming and bowing down, going out. Now, what should I do? Nobody told me anything. My mind is racing. And then I remember that I stayed in a Buddhist place where it was compulsory to bow down to a statue of the Buddha every time you entered the meditation hall. So I sort of make the association, Meher Baba, Buddha, same category. I know how to do that, you know, 3 times to Buddha, to Shanga, to the Dharma. I can do the same thing here, and I can get out of this place and, you know, no diplomatic incident. So I'm telling you everything because I don't know how to say it differently. I go kneel where people bow down, and I'm going to do my 3 prosternation very mechanically. And I put my head down the first time and I can't lift it up. With a very clear sense that here it's not a ritual, a mechanical salutation here, it's for real. So now I'm there with my head on the floor and I could feel such a presence, you know. So I don't know if I spoke or if I said it internally, but I said, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not ready. I come back. And I crawled out. And nobody asked me anything. And the American lady takes me to meet Mansari. And I spent some time with this little lady, and there were green birds flying around. And suddenly I feel completely at ease. I feel really like a child on vacation, a child like when I would go to my grandparents for holidays. Very happy, forget all this sense of powerful presence in the samadhi. I'm just now a happy tourist. And soon it's time for evening aarti, so Mansari and everybody head back to the samadhi, and I follow. Again, as a tourist, I wonder what prayers do they do, what do they say, So I'm standing in the back, and I happen to be standing right opposite the door to the samadhi. And I tell you, there were waves coming out of that door, waves washing over me, and waves telling me that God was there and God loved me. Wow. And I'm crying, and I'm pinching myself, you know, what's happening to me? Are you know, I don't know that there is a God, but that's the message I'm getting. And also that this is home, that everything I've done before, you know, the yoga, the meditation, attending all these talks, they were like the steps to bring me here. But this is home. So that's how it started, Sam. Mm. And the next day happened to be a day when the Merazad ladies would come to offer garlands and say aarti at the samadhi. So, you know, I don't know anything. I don't know who is who. I've just been told, be sure to go up the hill tomorrow morning because the ladies are coming. So I'm sitting on the platform of the mandap. I have no idea where I don't know any, I just know special people are coming. And one of these ladies, seeing a new face, comes to me and asks, hello, who are you? And I say, my name is Anne, I'm from France, I'm a doctor. And guess what? She was Dr. Goher. Oh. So from the beginning, we had that link, that connection. She took me under her wing and she introduced me to Mani and to everybody. And she said, tomorrow you must come see my dispensary. And that's how I met these special people who are the Mandali. And from the beginning, I just felt very at ease with them. You know, it was like they were family. They were distant relatives that you don't meet often, but when you meet them at a wedding or a funeral, you know that you belong to the same family. It just was very easy to be with all of them, except Mera. Mera was somebody special, you know. But so I spent 3 weeks in, on cloud 9, you know, in having discovered Baba and having that connection with his close ones. And And I knew when I left that I would be coming back. And so that was November 80. And I managed to come back for Amatiti of 82. And Dr. Goher had written to me, bring your medical kit and help me during Amatiti. So I did that, and I would also sit next to her in the dispensary. And again, feeling so much at home. And but it seemed everybody was either Indian or American. So how could I join them? But that feeling was so strong that despite my tendency to be shy, I approached one of the residents at the time and I asked my question. I don't know who is who. So it was Peter Nordin, who had been helping Padri for a long time. And my first question was, what work do you do here? And yes, Sam, his answer was, you don't come here to work, you come here to be worked upon. And I remember that struck me. I remember every word, but I didn't stop and think about it too much at the time. I asked my second question, which was, how do you support yourself? And he said, I go back to the States and I work in construction site for 3 months. And the cost of living in Mehrabad is, so less compared to America that I can do that. So I thought if we can do that with construction work, I can do it with temporary medical jobs. And then the next day, Dr. Goher turns to me in the Mehrabad dispensary and she said, it would be so good if you could come and help me. And I said, Goher, I've just been thinking about that. So I left with this idea that I would come for 1 year before settling down, before having my own practice, having to repay a loan to the bank, having patients to take care of. So that was the plan when I left after Baba's birthday in 82. And then in March, I got a phone call from a Baba friend, Arsenio Rodriguez. The Rodriguez family lived in Geneva, and I was working on the other side of the border. So I was at their place every weekend, basically. And Arsenio told me, I just heard the news, Padri died. And he said, if you are serious about going to help the Mandali, don't wait. So at the time, I was studying acupuncture, and the acupuncture school was offering scholarships to go study for 1 year in China, and I'd put my name there. So I thought I would spend 1 year in China and then 1 year in India. But after that phone call, I decided I would go to India first. So I sent my passport to the Indian embassy, not to the Chinese one. And that's how 6 November 82, I came to be a resident for 1 year. And it was just 2 years since I discovered Baba. I was just out of medical school. I didn't know anything about life. I didn't know anything much about spirituality. And my sense was, I found my Baba, but I don't understand. So I need to be around people who've been with him, because then, you don't, you imbibe something. You without without going through the intellect. You catch it, you know. So I have to say, you know, after the first visit to India, when I was in Thailand, I decided that I was going to go to a Buddhist monastery that accepted foreigners, and you could take temporary vows. And I thought I need to meditate till I understand everything about Meher Baba. And when I've understood everything really clear in my mind, I can tell everybody. First, I know what to do with my life, and then I can tell everybody about him. So I found my way to that place. It's not in the touristic part of Thailand, but when I got there, the abbot said, "We are very sorry, but it's only for men."
Oh.
And it never crossed my mind that being a woman would be a problem. So after that, I basically gave up on understanding Meher Baba. So I think now we'll take a little break and maybe look at the pictures of that time of 80. I sent Janice a few photos from the 80s.
Sure.
When I first met Mandali.
Yeah. But just.
And yes.
And what we can't still see you on the video. We can't see you. Your screen is blank. So perhaps you can switch off and switch on again. Janice, would that be a good idea?
Uncle, I'm not too sure because if my network is low, maybe logging in again would be an issue if she logs out. So I'm not too sure if that's a good idea. Dr. Ann, how's your network bandwidth on the screen showing? Is it showing low or full strength?
How do I know that?
Wherever the Wi-Fi is on your system, usually on the right bottom of the laptop.
Yeah, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. I'm on the broadband. You want me to switch to Wi-Fi?
If you can, you have a good strength of Wi-Fi bandwidth.
Let us see.
Don't log out. Just try changing the network.
Oh, okay.
Any luck?
Not yet.
You know, sometimes Baba plays his own tricks in his own way. And what can I say? It's rather upsetting, but we have to.
Yes. Dr. N, can you hear me? Your mic is on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
And unmute
Maybe,
mic.
Uncle, we'll have to give some moments because it takes a little time to switch between the networks to come back online.
Okay. While she's doing this, let me narrate an incident. A long time back, when I used to fly, I brought in some cheese from France, which was sitting in my fridge for a long time. And then there is this Mehrabad trip come up. So I decided to pick up that can of cheese. And I said, we'll have it in the Pilgrim Center. In those days, we used to stay at the Pilgrim Center. And so I put it in my bag and I took it. And whilst over there, I happened to be talking to Anne, and I knew that she was from France, and it just crossed my mind. I said, instead of us finishing it off, let me give it to her because she will cherish it more because it's a French thing. And The name of the cheese was Camembert, and it's a very soft cheese. So I wrapped it up and gave it to Anne. And the next day she comes to me and she tells me, she said, Sam, just a few days back, I was telling Baba that I feel like having this particular Camembert cheese, and I'm missing that from my things in France. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you become his, he looks after and grants you the smallest of the things, the particular kind of cheese that she wanted came to her right at her doorstep in Mehrabad. This is what Meher Baba is all about. And are we okay now?
No, she's dropped out. No, so I'll just call up and check on this.
Okay. Does anybody want to ask any questions or anything to talk about?
Sam uncle, can I say a poem, please?
Yeah, please go ahead. Is it a short one?
Very short. I had written my own self.
Okay, great. Go
It's
on.
about, I'll tell you basically what it is about. It is about this war.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Meher, come on.
Timeline. I think and think, where the hell has the time flown? North, south, east, and west. Time has flown in the depths of the world. I pray to the Lord. I pray to the people. I pray all round the world. Why are we having peculiar year? I say the time flies, time dances, time swings, time rings in the bells in the churches all day long. Temples and great places where people pray to the Lord. But, Lord, who opened one eyes for all. We need to sing the Lord God prayer to him and say, God, please, we live everywhere in the world, north and south and east and west. Please, the world calm and happy in all the situations. Silence is the time with the world of love in everyone's heart, where is needed now and all. Jai Baba.
Oh, very nice. Jai Baba. Dr. Ann.
Yes, she's joined back. Dr. N, can you unmute yourself?
Dr. Ann, we know you're
She's
very
calling
sharp,
me.
but
One moment, uncle.
Jimmy Khan, are you there? Ram Nori, are you there? Jimmy, do you want to say something about this thing with Anne? Any interactions that you had with Anne?
Here, Sam.
Do you want to say anything about your interactions with Dr. Anne, Ram?
Well, I've been seeing, I've seen her, for such a long period, I don't know where to start. She's always been helpful, especially, to the residents. And she knows who are all the right doctors, in Pune, to be sent to, for example, Jal uncle, Sridhar uncle, if they had any issues, or any of the residents there, they would approach her and they would say, oh, go see and this doctor. So that way, and she's every time with the Mandali members, when Meherwan was there, she came, and when Roshan auntie was in the hospital, she was there. when Mera Arjani was in the hospital. I think she had come few times. So she's pretty helpful, to the residents there, and she's very well versed also. And any medication that's given, even in my case, when I had an issue, I called her. So this is what's happening. Who should I see? And she said, oh, and these sort of things, you go to this doctor. So she's that way very helpful.
Anything else?
That's just about it. So.
Oh, okay, okay. Anybody else wants to say anything? Mayor Baba, please send Anne back on video. It was such a nice session. She was doing it so well.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes, 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 ma'am. Go ahead, go ahead. Anne, go ahead, please.
But I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hello?
Dr. Ann, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. And
No,
Uh, Can you hear us?
are we audible?
very faintly.
Can you
Wait a
increase
second.
the volume of your mobile to the maximum?
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead, go ahead.
So, Dr. Ann, we can hear you. So it doesn't matter if you cannot hear us. What I can do is I can start the PowerPoint and you can talk about the pictures. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai
I
Baba.
can try to join again on the other way.
Doesn't matter.
Can you see the
Okay.
PowerPoint now on the screen? So, doctor, if you're connected on both the devices, you have to mute one device.
Are we good to go?
I think she's trying to connect again.
I hear you.
You're on now. We can see you and hear you and everything. Okay. Now don't touch anything. Just speak. Put your hands up in the air.
So,
All right.
Jai Baba, I'll proceed with the pictures.
This is so typical of Meher Baba. So typical.
This is from the 80s. This is a typical visit of the Merazad ladies to the Samadhi. You see Mera, Meru, Katie, Anavaz in the background. It was really always a special time when they would come.
Doctor, and who's the lady behind Meru? Are Mera?
It's Devana between Meru and
wow. Okay.
between Meru and Anavaz.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I change the picture?
Yeah, next picture. Yeah, they were always coming with flowers from Merazad, the roses from Merazad garden. So this is Mera with Anavaz and Katie.
And is there Heather over there in glasses?
Possibly, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
and Mani next to Mera,
Mm.
Meru, and Casey, I think.
Mm.
And yes, that's Heather in the other side. And so this is,
You want to speak about this more?
I think it's Heather with the bangles and glasses on the right.
Oh, okay. Ah, yeah. Mm.
And move to the next picture.
Yes. So here is Dr. Goer in the 80s. She's between the dispensary that you see in the background, and she would commute between the ladies' side and the dispensary on this bicycle because she had a lot of pain in her legs. It was easier for her to go on the bicycle.
Wow.
And this is me 40 years ago.
Oh, God. So nice, so nice. So very nice.
This is Mani during one of their visits to Mehrabad, and I think she's telling a joke. You know, she was very good at telling stories, and especially funny stories.
Mm.
And Mansari, who lived up the hill, she had remained up the hill when Baba went on the new life. And she was one of my VIP patients.
Oh,
And as you can see, she's tiny. She's standing on the steps, and she's just
yeah.
the size of the child. And it is Mansari again during a visit with Irene below. Irene was from Switzerland, and she stayed in the ashram for 8 years. From 38, she was part of the Bluebird tours. And in 83 or 4, somebody offered her a plane ticket to come back to India. And she kept saying how wonderful it was. She kept saying he's coming back in a few days. She kept saying how his presence up the hill was still the same.
Oh,
And she spent a lot of time with her old friend Mansari because they were both, they love to talk. They lived alone and they love to talk. I mean, there is, you know, it would be all evening talking about Iran. And this is, again, Dr. Goher on the veranda with Mera. And this is my very good old friend, Pendu. Actually, I felt more at ease on the men's side. I was, when I was staying at Merazad, I was staying in the room that used to be Bauji's room, which has one door on the men's side and other door on the garden on the ladies' side. Anyway, I found it very easy and natural to be around Pendu. And he was always joking, and he was always in pain. He had been in the second accident, in the Satara accident, and he had been really terribly injured. He had multiple fractures of the pelvis, so he needed a walker. He was always joking, and it was great to be around him. This is Erich and Pendu in the 82 or 83. And this is Dr. Anne, much younger, with a friend Pendu. And I like this photo. It's taken in Mehrabad during Amatiti, because so you see Pendu is in this wheelchair, this sort of antique wheelchair, and he's with Balnatu, and one of the workers from Mehrabad, Ramdas, who was helping Pendu, because Pendu had been the manager for Amatiti, you know, organizing the tents as he had done for all the Sahavas in Baba's time. And though he was crippled, he still considered himself responsible, and he would discuss the arrangement, and Balnatu was doing his best to assist him. And this is little later. This is not from the 80s. This is much later, but this is Erich on the morning walk. Because, as I said, I came to be with the Mandali, and they were just special people. For those of you who have not met them, it's like they radiated Baba. Often when they were talking about him, they would imitate his hand gestures or his facial expression without thinking about it. They were just reliving that time with Baba. So they were very special people. And for me, who had no, intellectual framework reference to anything spiritual or God, it was just wonderful to be with them. And when I was at Merzad, I would accompany Erich. He would start his day by taking a walk before breakfast, just at sunrise. And all the kids on the approach road knew him because his pockets were full of prasad. So all the kids would come running to him to get their dose of sweets. And one day I was walking with Erich, and we were much further away. We were near the reservoir, for those who know Merzad. So we'd been on the main road. And in the other direction, a woman is coming with a little boy, a toddler, maybe 3 or 4 years old. And this little kid just crosses the road running and throws himself in Erich's legs. You know how kids just grab your knees. And so this is a sweet little scene. And I think another child who wants his dose of prasad. And then I look at the mother on the other side, and I realize this lady is in complete shock. She's wondering who are these people, and why did my kid run to them? And she doesn't understand. And what hit me was, what did that little boy see? What did he see that he came running to Erich? And I think there was a special, whatever we call that, aura or energy coming out of the Mandali, and this little child was running toward that. So Erich called the mother and said, "We are followers of Meher Baba. We live over there, and come, I give you prasad in Meher Baba's name." But it was really quite a revelation to me that what do little kids see around somebody like Erich? So I don't know if there is still time to tell more stories or if it's almost time to close.
Arey, don't do that, please. We can't let you go so easily.
Till what time does the meeting go? Hello?
Yeah, go on.
So, as I said, I was young and completely ignorant. And I learned on the go from the patients, from the Mandali. And, often I tended to feel that I'm not qualified. What am I doing here? I've been trained in France to function in a place where you have hospitals and emergency services. And here I was in the Indian countryside and taking care of patients such as Mohammed the Mast.
Oh, wow.
And I remember Mohammed would get sick quite often, and Padri used to take care of him.
Mhm.
But now, remember, when I came, Padri had died, so Mehrabad was different. So Eriko was the one who explained to me how to manage Mohammed. And for example, Mohammed would have bouts of severe vomiting, would get dehydrated. So with the help of Dr. Freni Taraporwala, now Freni Foreman, we would put him on a drip. And, then I would hear people in the Pilgrim Center saying, oh, Dr. An is interfering with Mohammed Masti's work, his universal work. And I would tell Eric, what am I supposed to do? And I would send a message to Dr. Goher and she would reply, he's dehydrated, you rehydrate him, just use your common sense. So I learned to not pay attention to
What people say.
what people were saying and, learn to trust that I would always get the right help. And with Mohammed, the help was mostly from Eriko, who had been the caretaker of this special mast for years. And, it was so special taking care of somebody like that. And also Naju Kotwal from Bombay would, like something is wrong with Mohammed, and as if by chance, Naju would arrive from Bombay. And Naju grew up in the ashram. She grew up playing with the mast. And so she was very good to cajole him to eat and to help me take care of him. And there are many, many stories of Mohammed. And I remember when Mohammed was on a drip, for example, you needed 1 or 2 persons with him constantly, because otherwise he would wonder, what is this pipe in my hand? And he would pull it off. So I remember one evening, it's like after dinner, it's 9 o'clock, and quite a few of us, Mohammed is better, and Mohammed is talking, and Mohammed is laughing. And so there are quite a few of us. And I am thinking, you are going to be on duty at 2 in the morning, and this one is going to be on duty at midnight. And I wanted to tell people, rest while you can. And at the same time, I would realize that we were being recharged. You felt nourished by being in the atmosphere of Mohammed, that you were sort of in that flow of loving energy. And I realized, don't worry about not getting enough sleep. The time with him is as good as sleep.
I don't know why, Anne, but Muhammad always used to abuse me, He used to call me Madrasi Chamar.
But you know, life in Mehrabad was about grinding of the ego. So suppose I am in that mood, I'm passing by and Mohammed is sitting on the veranda, and I think, so I would fill his glass. He had this plastic glass. I would give him the glass, and I'm feeling so proud of myself. You know, here I am serving the master, feeling the ego, having a great time and puffing up. And then Mohammed would look at the glass, and he would look at the glass, and I'm squatting next to him, you know, waiting for him to drink, and you start getting impatient, and you try to tell him, Mohammed, you drink, and he would look at me, and he would say, "Tula kais nahi samjhat." And you know, all the moment before, I was feeling I'm such a great person serving the master. That would get deflated.
Tula kaina samjhat. You don't understand anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which was very true, very true. And it was always amazing to me, you know, why does Baba put a French woman, a beginner, you know, somebody without medical experience, to take care of his special people. And I remember sort of at some point collapsing in front of Eriko, saying, I can't do it. And Eriko would tell me, you are the one that Baba has put here.
Mm.
And you're going to get all the help you need. And that was true. You know, it was something I realized, that often the situation looked unmanageable. I didn't feel qualified. I didn't feel adequate. And somebody would appear, you know, the right help would come, or the right thought would come to my head. You know, I'll tell you the story of Faramji's funeral. Faramji's funeral is quite a story. There are many stories, but it's like from the point of view of Dr. Anne. So it's Faramji's funeral, and it so happened that when the ambulance bringing the body rolled into Mehrabad, it was in June of '86. The first monsoon shower started. So it's pouring rain, everybody runs for cover under the verandas, and Erich tells the ambulance, just wait. And 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, the rain stops. So everybody gathers again, and the funeral is about to start, and we hear shouting on the road, and in front of our eyes, a truck that was filled with people, you know, was a wedding party, how people travel standing in the truck. So this truck swerved to overtake a bicycle, and the road is, you know, the first rain, the road is thick. And that in front of our eyes, the truck turned to its side.
Oh.
So you have right, you know, in front of the Duni, right next to the men's cemetery where the funeral is taking place, you have this pile of people in the truck, some running around with blood on their faces. You feel the one at the bottom of the pile are going to be crushed. And you have all the Mehrabad men, you know, Eriko, Ted, Peter, Nordina are there pulling them out. And I am the doctor, so I know I should go there. And I can't move. My feet are in the mud as if they are in cement. I can't move. And in my mind, I'm having an argument with Baba. I am protesting. This is not right. You know, we are here for a funeral. We can't deal with an accident at the same time. That I can't do it. How do you expect me to deal with so many casualties? I mean, it seems so ridiculous. You know, it's embarrassing to tell the story, but this is exactly what's going on in my mind. This should not be happening. I can't do it. And physically, I couldn't move, really. And then a thought came, and really it felt like it was being beamed at me. It didn't feel like it was originating from my brain. And I almost heard it. You already have an ambulance on the premises.
Ah. Mm.
And with that, it's like, okay, I sort of switched gear. I stopped protesting that it was impossible situation, and I could move. Suddenly, you know, I could move. And then everything was so easy. You know, I take 5 steps. There is one man who had been thrown out, and one glance, you know, he has a broken femur shaft. That's a very serious fracture. And I look up, and Erico is at my side saying, "What do you need?" So I say, "Bring the stretcher from the ambulance for this man." And then I take 2 steps, and I knew what to do. And everything was like in 10 minutes, I think. We had the more serious patient in the ambulance. We had like 20 people with broken wrist. They all fell and landed on their hand. So Erico and Bob Street were taking care of them. It's just the wrist, go on that side. I mean, it was so amazingly easy. All the help I needed was there. And then in the ambulance, we took them to civil hospital. So you see how it all starts in the mind, you know. How can I manage that? But if Baba has arranged for this to happen, he has also arranged for the ambulance to be there. So there was a male nurse, an American male nurse there who helped also. I mean, it was something that took me a long time to learn, but just do your best, just show up, and remember that Baba, he will see to give you the help you need. And it's something that I still need to remember, that his help is there. His help is there. And there were also many moments where I was so impressed by the people I had to take care of. I remember one of the early Amatiti, and somebody called me in the night saying a bus has arrived and somebody needs a cot. Do you have a cot? At the time, the Amatiti medical facilities were one room in what is now the staff quarters with a few beds. So I said, yes, we have a cot. What is the problem? So I go out and I climb on the bus, and there is a gentleman sitting on the bus with his legs on the seat, and somebody hands me an X-ray showing that he has a broken femur neck. And you know, it's 2 a.m, I'm trying to wake up, but it's like, what does this mean? If there is already an X-ray, what is this guy doing on the bus? And the story is that they were coming from South India, maybe from Madras, I'm not sure. And on the way, they stopped in Bombay, and crossing the road, this pilgrim was hit by a scooter. He's taken to hospital, X-ray, diagnosed, you have a broken neck of femur. And that man said, I'm going to Mehrabad for Amatiti, you put me back on the bus.
Oh.
Absolutely. And, you know, I could not believe it, that this man had endured being on the road. And at that time, the roads were, especially between Pune and Mehrabad, the roads were not good. So I'm completely dumbfounded that somebody would be ready to endure that. And to give you the full story, because of the pain, that man was unable to pass urine. So we couldn't manage that in Mehrabad. So I say, we're going to keep him in the bus, and the bus is going to take him to Booth Hospital in Ahmednagar. And I remember that man is in the hospital emergency room, and the nurses and the doctors are getting ready to, put a catheter in his bladder. And all he's worried about is telling his friends, find an ambulance to bring me to Mehrabad tomorrow morning for the 31st.
My God.
Absolutely. And the next day he did come on a stretcher to take darshan on the 31st. And he went back on that bus to, I'm sorry, I don't remember if he was from Andhra or from Madras.
Okay.
So I would be reminded that, this is a kind of patient you're really ready to do everything you can to help, because you realize they're showing me the value of this place. They're showing me what it means to come for darshan here. And there were quite a few deep lessons like that.
And what was it like treating the Mandli people, especially Aloba, and who was very headstrong, and was he a difficult patient, or?
Aloba was always very sweet with me. I remember one time I was at Merazad. Usually it would be in Merazad when Shelley would take Goher. When Shelley and Goher would go to Pune, I was at Merazad for a week or two. So something had happened, I was sick. So I didn't go to see Aloba for a day or two. And then he says, where were you? And I say, I was not well. And he said, but why you didn't tell me? If you tell me, I can pray for you.
Oh.
And he was not a special problem. I mean, Shelley had more trouble managing him day in and day out. But he would, I remember he would announce that he was going to die. And didn't know what to do. He was cold, and then he was hot, and his blood pressure was normal, and he says he's going to die. What to do? He didn't die then. Aloba was funny, but he was very sweet also.
Yeah. He was all love, all emotion. Yeah. Yes. Do you know they were expecting Muhammad to die, and he survived thrice, I think. They dug a grave, and then the plants started growing in that grave, and
yeah, I was sort of responsible for that, because I had said he had pneumonia.
Oh.
And he was not getting better, and he was having so much trouble breathing. And I told everybody that he was going to die. And Mani came from Merazad to say goodbye to Mohammed, and Bauji brought a doctor from Nagar to do the death certificate, and Ted got the grave dug. And you know, the day, the afternoon, the evening, and really it sounded like every breath was going to be the last. His breathing was so labored. But no, another breath would come, and it's 10 o'clock and it's 11, and people finally, you know, decide to go to sleep. And Mohammed did not die. And another day, I think, Andy is really woke up and started talking and asked for water. And I remember I was on duty with Janaki, and it's like he woke up from wherever he was and he looked at us. And he started abusing us. and we could, and my thought was, he was in such a beautiful place, and now he's come back and he sees this sort of stupid foreigners. And but yes, he came back, and everybody was very, very happy. And after some time, Eriko asked him, you know, you've come back to be with us. How long are you going to be with us this time? And he told Eriko, Barasal, 12 years.
Oh.
And then, you know, years go by. And one morning, Eriko comes to call me saying, Mohammed has had a stroke. He is paralyzed on one side. And then Eriko told me, you know, it has been 12 years. And 1 week, we took care of Mohammed for 1 week, and then he died. So he knew. He knew what his assignment was, you know. Yeah. And this was like the best week of taking care of patients in Mehrabad. You know, everybody was, everybody was on the same team. Everybody was helping everybody else. When you need another oxygen cylinder, it would be done sort of in no time. People were making sure I had food. It was such a special, loving atmosphere around Mohammed. Yeah, it was like my... And again, you know, the help is always there. For a few days, you know, try to do this, do that. And Eriko, who was always very modern, at the first cell phone. So he offers to call a Baba friend who is a doctor in an emergency room in the USA, a Baba lover. So yes, I would like his opinion and his advice. And Eriko gets the connection, and it's the wife, the husband and wife are both doctors. But the wife answers the phone and she says, Anne, we can't talk now. We have to leave exactly now for the graduation ceremony of our son. If we don't leave now, we're going to miss it. We don't have the time. And I say, okay, I understand. Call me when you can. It's for Mohammed. And would you believe it? Within 5 minutes, they call back. They have decided that she can drive the car, and so her husband can talk to me. So they are going to be on time for the graduation. And at the same time, they feel that it's important to be there for me. So that really stayed with me, that willingness, that readiness of people to be of help. And I needed somebody to tell me you were doing the right thing. And yes, do this or do that when I had a question. And this was provided, you know. So the training provided by life in Mehrabad was this constant balance of being the ego being battered, being deflated, being ground to dust, and the constant support of the Mandali, who were strict, you know. If they were not happy with something you'd done, they would let you know.
Mm.
But at the same time, they paid so much attention to what was happening in Mehrabad. They were so caring about us. And, you know, I would have moods, I would get upset. Goher would see me coming with a long face, I guess, and she would look at me and say, "Don't harass me, go talk with Anavaz." Because Anavaz was the one who was patient and who was like always ready to listen to your complaint and your woes. So
It was just
this is what life was like. And also many times I wanted to leave.
Oh, really?
For various reasons, because, you know, I came for 1 year, and then I remember telling Mani, I don't want to go, but I don't have money to stay. And she, very practical, said, "Well, you go back, earn some money, and you come back." So I did that and came for a 2nd year. And same thing, I would go, earn some money, and come back another year. And after 10 years, I thought, "Okay, Baba, I think I'm here till you kick me out." But every now and then something would happen, or I would think, you have to be practical, you know, you have to earn money, think of your old age and all that. So I would decide I would leave. I was going to go and tell the Mandali, and something would happen and make me change my mind. So it was all about learning to open more and more to Baba, you know, to his guidance, to realize that he is there.
Mm.
And so I feel I can't take any credit, really, you know. He brought me as a tourist. I was going to Thailand. I wasn't going to India. He he made everything possible, and he kept me there, even when I felt it was impossible and I was ready to leave. So what to tell you that you don't know? Baba is really wonderful. And even for somebody who didn't believe in God, he's there. And I think I'm running out of steam and out of breath and out of inspiration, and that it's time for me to shut up. It has been great to have this opportunity to remember the good old times. Thank you, Sam, for inviting me.
Hold on a minute. You know, when you said that earlier during your talk, you said you felt you were not qualified, and yet, so Baba has said that in his work, he does not choose the qualified ones. He qualifies the ones whom he chooses.
Oh, really? I never read that.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, whilst talking to you, it brought back so many old memories. And also, if I may say so, you brought me so much closer to Baba this evening, in this 1 hour or whatever that we've been talking. Yeah, there is this honesty and simplicity about you, which I think is the most important quality that Baba wants in all of us. And I don't know if I can say this, but may Baba keep you strong. May Baba keep you strong to serve him long. You still have a long way to go, and we all need your services. So don't ever think of packing your bags again.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Anybody wants to ask any questions? Just hold on a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two questions and I'll ask one by one. The first is, not much is said about Naja. We haven't read much about Naja. Did you interact with Naja, and what was she like?
Naja had passed away before I came.
Oh, sorry.
So I met her during my first visit, but I didn't know Naja really.
Okay. And my second question is, you are a French. You came to, let me say, third world country, back in the beyond. Language was a problem. It must have been a culture shock for you. The food was a problem. The people were different. How did you manage this?
Well, it was that, you know, Baba got me at the time when you just discover him, and it's sort of so exciting to realize that, yes, you know, there is a whole world beyond that physical world that we see. And, you know, the rustic living conditions were not a big deal for me. I mean, I used to go camping. The language I learned from the patients from Balnatu. And it was the company, you know, the company of the Mandali was something uplifting, and that was, it was fun to be around them, you know. It was not that my days were always fun, but they made everything possible. You wanted to help them. You wanted to be with them. It's like if this Dr. Goher can run a dispensary in Merazad, well, I can be there next to her. So I don't know if that answers your questions, but that's what comes to my mind.
Jimmy, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Was food a big problem for you in India?
Yes. Even after
yes.
40 years, I can't take chilies. Yeah.
Absolutely. And your training, sorry, Sam, 1 second.
Go ahead.
Your medical training in France, and suddenly you are working in Ahmednagar. How did it clash? The facilities in India, the training in training outside.
Well, you can't do things the same way, but you have. That was not the main problem, you know. You
Okay.
just adjust to what is available.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a favor to ask you. Can you speak a few sentences in Marathi for all of us? Yeah, please.
मी काय सांगू?
चला सांगा काहीतरी सांगा.
You know, Bauji used to make me do that when he was on tour to make people laugh. So I would imitate the patients. Bai, मला कनी जरा तब्येत बिघडले. बाई डोकं दुखतं.
Ah,
Da piéton mana.
hmm.
And you know, Mani used to say that Marathi with a French accent sounded much better than Marathi with an American accent. So
Oh,
that
wow.
made me very proud.
That's the best compliment you could get. Yeah. You know, during this entire evening and this conversation, the conclusion that I have felt is that we are all marked souls. Each one of us are assigned to do a particular job in his ministry. You've been fortunate enough, Anne, to live on the premises where the Lord had lived. We fellows come and just visit 2-3 days and then get thrown back into Mumbai. But then, c'est la vie, this is life. Yeah. Anybody else wants to ask anything? Hello? Why is everyone quiet? Yasmin Haratwala. Okay, go ahead. Yasmin, unmute yourself first. Yasmin.
Okay, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
And when I was working as a volunteer in Mehrabad and living at the Dharamshala and having my meals at the Savage Kitchen, I remember asking you how you came to Baba. And I remember one of the things which impressed me was you said that when you bow down at the Samadhi, you couldn't get your head off the Samadhi slab. And that was probably Baba's way of saying that you belong there. I don't know, that really made an impression on me. I just wanted to mention that, since you didn't mention it in your talk. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
This is where we all belong. Yes, my dear friend, we all belong to this one great, beautiful family of Meher Baba. Anybody else wants to say anything? Ram Nori, you always tell us something or the other. Go ahead.
I already told you, in Dr. Anne's absence, how helpful, she was.
Very
And,
helpful.
she still is, to the residents. And even when I had problems, I would pick up phone and say, Dr. Anne, this is what's happening with me. What kind of doctor I need to go to? So I did ask her a couple of times. So she's extremely helpful. And no, and she also had to deal with my brother. Once she told me this story, my brother, Merchant, who was a lawyer, once they came in a bus, I don't know if it was Amartiti or regular tour. So there was this Muslim man who had come with them for the first time. So after taking darshan and all, on their way back, the guy asked the driver to play Aarti. While the Aarti was being played, he died on the bus.
Oh.
So, well, obviously, Dr. Anne at that point was the medical officer. So she had an argument with my brother. My brother apparently told her he's got a ticket to go back. So let's take him back. She said, no, you cannot take him back. Eventually, I don't know what happened. They must have given a death certificate or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember that very well. It was Amartiti. And there is this dead guy at the back of the bus, and I'm saying, and I know Dr. Barucha, they called every doctor they could find. So Dr. Barucha came and looked at me and said, there's nothing to do, he's dead. And he sort of said it loudly. And the next thing I know, everybody got down of that bus. And I'm there with that man who is dead and his wife who doesn't speak English and two little kids who are crying. And I say, Baba, I think I need help. What am I going to do there? And literally, a woman appeared at my side, and she says, "I'm a nurse." She was a Telugu lady on that bus, and yes, Mayor Chan was involved in convincing the driver to take the dead body back on the bus, which they ended up doing. I don't remember having an argument with Mayor Chan, but I kept wondering, what are we going to do with this? Should we get him off the bus, or should we keep? It was quite a night.
Yeah. But what the funny part is, Merchant friendly told you that, oh, but he's got a ticket to go back on the bus. You can't take a dead body on the bus, so.
And
Yes.
Tell us some small anecdote, whatever that comes to your mind, very small, short one, if you can. Please.
Well, I'll tell you, my most beautiful moment with Mohammed the Mast is one night when I'm taking care of him. Mostly was giving him water when he asked for it. And he called me Maushi. And I was in heaven, that he's calling me sister of my mother. And I was just so happy.
Moshi. Yep. There has to be some connection somewhere. That's for sure. Okay. Before we depart, Anne, could you please repeat the same prayer in French once again?
All right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anne.
Thank you all for making me remember all that.
Thank him, darling. Thank him.
Dieu bien-aimé, aide-nous tous à t'aimer de plus en plus, et encore plus, et toujours plus, jusqu'à ce que nous devenions dignes d'union avec toi. Et aide-nous tous à tenir fermement le daman de Baba, sans cesse, jusqu'au bout. Jai Baba.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Anne. Okay. I need someone to do the Aarti. Can Yasmin Haradwala do it, or Perin Jasumani, any of the two? Yasmin? Would you like to do the Aarti?
I don't know if my voice is right, but I'll try.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Pujabe narin sehalatin ekar tud ratne paramatu chelagi आश भक्तों ने ये बख्शे नूरे पाक अय्यामुर शब मेहर बाबा चरण पर तुझ धरिए खुदाना साथ थी मागे खुदाई दे तू मेहरबान तुझे मालिक हकीकत नो तू आशिक भीने और भी तुझे दरी न्याय बेहदत मारिफत नो मोई तुम फातू अमूर है रब ने ये बख्शे ज्ञान ईसदन के तुझ पर महात्मा ज्ञानी छेने वो तारीर पातु खुदाना प्रेम नो प्यालो पिलापी मस्त हमने कर छे तुझ पर जान सड़के साकिया ये बेयमात हमारी नाव भर करिए तराबी तू हमें करिए हमारा ना खुदाए मेहर बाबा चैन के बातों हमारा ना खुदा मेहर बाबा चैन के बात पूछा नार जहल दिन एकर कुदरत ने फरमातु छेला की आश तुमने की बख्शे नूरे मातुम। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Jai Baba, everybody. From parent Jasuman, Dr. N. All the very best to your parents, and look forward to hugging. Kya? Sorry. Look forward to hugging you in Mehrabad in beloved Baba's perfect time. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you, Anne. All I can say is, may Baba keep you strong to serve him long. Thank you, everybody.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
And I hope we get more and more people like Dr. Anne to come and share their stories with us.
Jai Baba.
Jai Meher Baba, sir. How are you, Kohli Saab?
जय बाबा श्री श्याम जी।
हाँ जी, कैसे हैं आप?
बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्राम हुआ। इट्स वेरी नाइस डॉक्टर एन का सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा।
सब उनकी खूबी है सर।
उन्हीं की है सर, बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप, बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप। एनीवे थैंक्स अ लॉट सैम, थैंक्स अ लॉट।
थैंक यू बाबा। आप लोग सब संभाल के रहिएगा।
हाँ जी। हाय जिमी, हाउ आर यू? Good.
And also we had a lovely evening, and if you're still around,
Keep your rhythm, I can't hear.
Speak up.
Not very audible. You need to speak up.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I can't hear you, Jimmy.
You muted yourself.
can't hear me.
Now make it a little louder. Shout.
I was trying to say, can you hear me now?
Faintly.
Thanks to Anne from all of us. It was a lovely evening. We enjoyed it thoroughly.
Thank you. Okay, Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Please say hi to your son. Kohli साहब।
हाँ जी, जरूर सर, जरूर जरूर। अच्छा,
उसको जय बाबा बोलना हमारी तरफ से।
बिल्कुल सर,
उसको
मैं बोलूंगा सर। जय बाबा।
जय
जय। ओके बाबा। जय बाबा।
Jai Meher Baba. Just a small announcement.
हाँ, sorry. This is a very important thing. I'm
No
sorry.
worries, uncle.
Yeah.
So, beginning from first Sunday of April, we're starting with Winning His Heart events every Sunday. We're starting with the first event, which is a very unique and a very interesting art event. What's in your jar? So all the details will be shared, where you create a jar, or draw a jar, and you write down 7 unique things that you have learned after coming into Baba's fold. So that's one event per Sunday. Then we have Babaful Housey, where you'll be given certain words. You prepare your own ticket, and you play the online housey. Then there'll be Baba Quiz. This time the quiz will be based on the Bombay Center's drama, certain episodes from the drama called In Search of God. It's a beautiful drama, and the episodes links will be shared with you, and simple questions based on those episodes will be asked, which will be multiple choice questions. So it's nothing very difficult or to be scary about. It's just a simple quiz where you test your own self. You don't have to submit your answers, nothing. You just take a pen and paper, note down the answers, and test your own self. And the last Sunday, we'll be having Voiceless Voice, which is an amazing event in which Somit Doshi, he writes blogs about connecting with your higher self, and amazing blogs he writes about, and we'll be having presentations on those blogs. So stay tuned in. The details will be shared by tomorrow morning with all via WhatsApp, and looking forward to your participation. Thank you, Baba, for everyone. Thank you, Baba, for everything, and thank you to everybody for joining.
Jai Baba.
Erin Jasumani, are you there? Hello? Erin Jasumani,
Yes, she's there.
can you hear us? Erin?
She must be away. Maybe she's
Boss, Sam, I'm not going to be participating next couple of weeks.
Oh,
Next Thursday, I'm in Mehrabad.
okay.
And the following Thursday, I'm in Hyderabad.
Yeah, but you can always log in. Wherever.
In fact, Uncle, you can join from Jal Uncle's house, and we can say hi to Jal Uncle again.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yes, really.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Try if you can.
Yeah, but I'll do that in April, because April I'm going to go stay with him. Sridhar uncle is not there, so I'll be going there and staying probably for 4 or 5 days to give him company. Yeah.
Okay.
Plan. But if possible, I'll definitely do it.
Right.
Sure. So shall I end the program, Uncle?
Just a minute, Janice. I want someone to give a command in Marathi. Dukan ban kara. Asa konala sangitla pahiye.
Dr. Anne is left.
She's left. She's left. अभी कौन बोलेगा ये?
हिंदी में बोलू?
नहीं.
मराठीमध्ये सेमच म्हणतात, दुकान बंद करा. वेळ झाली.
जय बाबा. I would like to hear Godrej. No, he's not here.
He's there. Muted.
Anyway, चलो दुकान बंद कर देते हैं अभी. Thank you everybody for every.
Hey Baba.
Jai Baba. Baba,
Yes,
Namaste.
take Baba with you. Take Baba with you. Take Baba with you. Jai Baba. We learned a lot of things from Dr. Ann today. Beautiful session. Thank you. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Baba, for everything. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Your final lines?
Everybody stay safe, take care, and Baba ne given. See you all next week.
Haji. Jai
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.